All right, call this meeting to order. Thank you, Ms. Fuentes. Determine there's a quorum present. Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself, we have a quorum. Commissioner Wardlaw, y'all will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Wardlaw, if you will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you do the Texas, let me go get them muted real quick, because it's like.
I've been in office, this is my third term.
Sorry about that. You want to get started, Commissioner Morgan?
Nope. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Wow, that one actually went pretty good.
It don't matter.
Approving minutes. Second. Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. And I'm just gonna read these in the order that I put them down. Mr. Rodriguez? Second. I'm sorry.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sergio Rodriguez, leader with the border organization and president of Escondido Estates Resident Association. I just wanted to, well, first, thank you for having me up here today, everyone. Just wanted to make this court aware of what's been going on the last couple of weeks. About 2 weeks ago, we were actually, along with the border organization, we were able to finally set up a meeting with both parties from county and city. And, you know, I really feel that it was a very productive meeting, because for a while, you know, it's kind of like, well, we need this, or the county needs that, or he said this, he said that. So we were able to get both parties together. County Engineer Carlos Velarde was there, we were there, all the public works directors were there, the city manager was there. So basically, we all sat down together, and, you know, very, very productive. We were, they pretty much agreed, if you guys need anything from a communication standpoint where they're not getting back to me, he has, you know, he was even willing to call right there and then, that he can actually help you guys. So I know the city manager wanted an update like every 2 weeks. So I got with Carlos this morning, and I know it's not an easy process, like, you know, just like he says, but if there's anything you guys need, Judge, or, you know, commissioners, from a communication standpoint, if we need to make phone calls, we're willing to do that with you guys. So I mean, I know, like Carlos said, it's a hard process, but it's one we can fight together. So that's all I wanted to say this morning.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Not gonna get in a conversation with you, but if you'll hang around, there's a couple of items on the agenda to take care of some of this.
I'll be here.
Ms. Fuentes?
Good morning, Judge Owens and County Commissioners. My name is Sandra Fuentes. I'm co-chair of the border organization. This has become so redundant, but here I am, I think, for the 12th time in about 15 years, 10 years, asking the court to change the meeting time. Last time we were so excited because it looks like it was going to work, but then from the attorney's office, you were, I guess we were told, and you were told that even if you were to vote in favor of changing the meeting time, it could not happen, I believe, until September 1st. So, on that note, I am asking the court if someone can put on the next agenda for a vote to change the meeting time. It doesn't have to be, of course, it could have to be effective until September 1st, we understand that. But if you can put it on the next agenda, there's a lot of people missing here this morning that cannot attend because they are at work. All right, so please, if you can put that on the agenda for the next County Commissioners Court meeting, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Vallejo?
Good morning, Judge Owens and Commissioners. The Valverde Appraisal District and your appointed Appraisal District board members have acted in a manner that has left us dumbfounded by increasing land values up to $30,000 per lot, no matter the size, the shape, or the location. Plus, they have disingenuously declared that home improvements were made when they possess no records of improvements. These appointed board members represent you in their decisions, not us. It appears to me that they are your right hand in helping you acquire tax revenue. Their word seems to be etched on stone, with no sign of relief for the taxpayer, because our appeals to the Appraisal Review Board have turned deaf ears to most of the protests. And appealing their decision leads to costly arbitration, legal and attorney fees in district court. And the majority of these people are elderly and on a set income. Now, you're on the verge of declaring your tax rate, and I appeal to you to stop, to think, and to look at what your appointed appraisal board members have done to this community. Without a single percentage point of increase on your last year's tax rate, you stand to earn millions upon millions of tax revenue, because most everyone's property's appraisals were up more than 100%. Please be considerate of those low to middle income individuals and families that live on said incomes. They can no longer afford to live in their homes because of the appraised values submitted by your appointed members. These people must make one of two decisions: sell their homes or stop paying taxes. And this is legal theft. The same people cannot even move into rental properties or nursing homes without having to pay because their income is above the poverty level. Most will have to move in with someone. Individualism appears to be out the door. And so, a serious agenda seems to be surfacing from all of this. It appears that our taxing entities are pushing for communal living. And if that is so, that is a form of communism. Your appointed appraisal board members have done their deed, and now the tax rate sits on your lap. The future of many homeowners rests on your shoulders. Your tax rate will break many. It is with a heavy heart that a lot of these people have shared their emotions, their frustrations, and their mental anguish, knowing that they can no longer make repairs or upkeep their homes, and now they stand to lose them. Do not be surprised to find someone living in a $90,000 home that is not even livable. Those living in old homes are being forced to pay taxes on their homes as if they were brand new, all because of the market value that was set by a minus 1% of those who put up their properties for sale, and most of them are not even living in Val Verde County. I ask you to consider the economic struggle most have to endure in Val Verde County. And please be considerate of your tax rate, because it does affect a great deal of those individuals that are on set incomes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Jordan? And just for the record, just state your last name because I couldn't read it.
Sure, it's Jordan Ediger. Judge Owens, County Commissioners, thanks for hearing me today. Just would like to give you an update on the International Bridge petition. I'd like to go ahead and read it one more time. The residents of Del Rio and Val Verde County demand that a new international bridge not be placed north of Del Rio between the city of Del Rio and Lake Amistad. A new international bridge north of the city of Del Rio places all the residents who live in between the city of Del Rio and Lake Amistad at a significant increased safety and security risk. In addition, the further development of international truck traffic north of Del Rio will reduce the valuation of the residential property of the residents of Val Verde County and effectively the economics of the city of Del Rio. An international bridge south of Del Rio is the only feasible option for Val Verde County and Del Rio. And I currently have over I counted 1,091 signatures on that petition at this point. In addition, I'd like to bring to your attention, so there is an agreement between the Mayor of Del Rio, the Mayor of the City of Acuna, the County Judge of Val Verde County, and the Minister of Infrastructure, the State of Coahuila. This agreement was made in March 2015. And I'd advocate to you right now that from 2015 to now, a lot's occurred. And I know for sure that there is some legalese that states that at some point agreements expire. Even though there is no expiration date, I know for sure that this can be changed and you can remove your signature pending coordination with your legal department. So that's 2015. I also know that from the Ports to Plains public meeting, number 1, November of 2019, a Ports to Plains feasibility study was conducted. And during that feasibility study, there were 58 respondents to a question. The question is, which goals of the corridor feasibility study are the most important to you? The top 3 were safety and mobility, economic development, and freight movement. The one that had 0 votes was private property. And then looking at the names on here, you'll recognize them, I'm sure. There are only 58 folks who signed this, the majority of whom, from my understanding, and looking at the names, that we can all probably recognize, most of these folks live in the city of Del Rio. So that's all I have for now. Please take this information and realize that it would be an easy fix here. This is needlessly placing 4-lane international truck traffic over homes, which is extra unsettling, especially when knowing that you have an option, we have an option to place this traffic bridge and route in an area that has no homes. And in addition, I know that from 2015, Ciudad Acuña had already planned to create a loop around their city to go north, the north side of Ciudad Acuña, down south to connect down to the highways that connect south of Acuña. So they had already plans to make a loop that would connect to that option, and that option is also located here and then 2015. So somehow, somewhere, the option to not place a highway over folks' homes was taken off the table. So please, I ask that you would consider at some point voting to remove your signature off of that agreement from 2015. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got a public hearing at 9:15, so if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna go to items 20 and 21, skip to that. That way we don't get in a conversation on our budget, and then end up missing our public hearing. So I'm gonna go to item 20, approving monthly reports from elected officials. Second. Motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 21, approving bills for payment.
Move.
Have a motion Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 23, discussion possible action to approve auditor's report. 22, I'm sorry.
Move.
Second. Have a motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 23, discussion possible action on the following. Certification of revenue, Gov Deals, $30,581.55. Precinct 4 was $30,511.68, and miscellaneous was $69.87.
Move.
Second. A motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 24, discussion possible action on the following. Budget adjustment, $9,000 from available appropriations to other autopsy, I'm sorry.
We're not having to finish that, or?
No, and typically,
And they're not
sometimes we
covered
don't.
under operating expenses?
Unfortunately, these ones are not. Only the does would be covered under that.
What did we budget for autopsies last year? I don't
That I
remember
know off the top of my head. No, I don't know. That I can look that
Is it
up.
like 15?
Pardon?
Like 15? Or is it more?
15? I'm thinking around the 30 to
Really?
40s.
Okay.
30,000 to 40,000?
That's what I'm thinking.
Came up short 9?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 1 second.
9:15,
Judge.
Hmm?
It's 9:15.
Yeah, okay.
Contingency.
Okay, motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye, anybody against, motion carries 5-0. Thank you, David. Public hearing, 10-foot front line, setback variance on lot 2, block 2, Box Canyon, Valverde County, Tuesday. Well, it's set for today, Tuesday, at 9:15. Right now, the hearing will not open. Again, it's on the 10-foot front line setback variance on lot 2, block 2 in Box Canyon. Does anybody have any concerns? Give it a little bit in case somebody wants to come up and talk. Nice, super quiet. Okay. And nobody has any comments for or against? One more time. It's 9:16. Hearing is now closed. If y'all don't mind, let's just go ahead and take care of that one since it was the hearing and we go straight into it. I'm sorry for bouncing around. Item 35, discussing possible action request for a 10 feet front line setback variance requested by owners of lot 2, block 2, Box Canyon. The request is for a 10-foot front lot line variance for the purpose of building a carport.
Move.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, now we can go back to item 7, present tax rate.
Good morning. Today we're going to propose the tax rate at .497700. The no new revenue rate is .424413, and the voter approval rate is .499759.
Okay. We have an item 8, vote on proposed tax rate, and on item 8, if y'all don't mind, if we can table that one. Do you need any action from us on item 7 while you're presenting the tax rate?
No.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on number 7?
No, right now.
And it'll give us a chance to come, when we come back to it, since we're just handling it. Thank you, ma'am. Item 8, vote on proposed tax rate. If y'all don't mind, table this until. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. And the reason I asked for this to be tabled, the commissioners just now saw it. In case they have questions, they can go through it a little bit slower and read this. And we're also going to come back with the rate as to where we're putting the .4977. Okay. I know that sounded real simple, but. Item 9, set date for tax rate hearing. Our next meetings are the August 29th and September 12th. Those are our next regular Commissioners Court meetings. So those, I would say, will be the days.
For the publications for
Yes.
August. I'll make a motion to.
Hold on.
Okay.
Matt's.
We have to set the budget first before we set the tax rate on the hearing. Do we have that?
I have.
That's just your first hearing. I'm sorry about that, right?
Yeah, that's what don't matter.
Not to set. Thank you.
That's at the hearing.
Uh-huh.
I'll make a motion to set it on August
29th.
29th at 9:15 a.m.
Okay. Have motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. Are we okay with that? We already talked. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carried. Set date to publish notice for tax rate. We'll actually do it next Wednesday, but it'll be put on, I need a motion to do it on the 20th.
Motion to set it for the 20th, to be published on the 20th. The 20th? That's a Sunday.
Well, let's see. It'll be whatever next Wednesday is.
That's the 23rd.
23rd then. I'm sorry. I can't even blame anybody for that. I don't know when I wrote this in. On the 23rd, it will be published, but it'll be put on our website before then. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. I'm gonna go ahead and keep my calendar out. Set date for a budget hearing, which that would be, on the 29th and on the 12th. Those are our
We have to do two.
yes.
I'll make a motion to set a budget hearing for the 29th and the 12th.
And we'll just set those for 9:30. Okay. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Set date to publish notice for budget, and that would be on the 23rd also.
Motion to approve the published notice on the 23rd. Are you gonna follow?
It'll be today. Today's the last day to file, and we needed to do it so we could keep up with all the other dates. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. And then, set date to adopt the budget, and we would be able to do that on the 12th of September. We meet all our deadlines. Do what?
We haven't even looked at it yet.
Well, it'll be a month. It'll be a month, and we're trying to hit time. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the 12th. You just have to have your budget hearing 25 days after you submit your proposed, which you're gonna hit that date.
And if we set it for the 12th and decide not to adopt it on that day?
We can go back and resend it, but we'll have time to resend and reset it. These are the dates that we've been following for the last 5 years, more or less.
I know, I just haven't seen it. Motion to set the date for September 12th.
And if that don't happen,
And if that
then
don't work, we're gonna
resend
move it to the 26th.
it. Okay. Commissioner Nettleton made a motion. Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Set date to adopt the tax rate.
Motion to approve for September 12th.
All right. I have a motion. Second, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Anybody against? Motion carries. There was a deal on elected officials, item 15, vote to set elected official salaries. Everybody, there should have been something in your package.
Well, it's not on here.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's table it. If y'all don't mind. And then, I have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez. Second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Hold on 1 minute. Yeah, but, change here, it's on number 17 in your.
I don't, it's not. even-
Okay,
there's
now
nothing.
can you make sure we get a copy before we come back out?
I was reminded the 29th, there's gonna be a few members out of town on legislative updates.
Okay, well, let's just shoot for the 12th. If we have questions, we got 2 budget workshops between now and then anyway, for the 12th. She'll get you a copy. Item 16, set date for budget workshops, that would be on the 29th and on the 12th.
Motion to approve the 29th and 12th.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 17, discussion possible action on agreements committee for fiscal year 23-24 and for elected official salaries. The agreements committee,
Keep the same as we had, right?
yeah.
We have to draw names.
Well, the thing is though that it'll change because of the, I think it's on the grand jury or something.
Yeah.
So it will change. We'll have to get names. Okay.
We need-
Ms. Chuckmore, can you get us names for the grand jury? That way we can do, since that I don't have right here, can the court give me permission to go ahead and pick them that way that committee's set up? We don't have to come back and see.
Motion to approve and authorize the judge to pick the names needed out of the grand jury.
All right, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 25, we do have the report, discussion possible action to approve treasurer's report. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. I'm gonna go to, if y'all don't mind, I know I'm skipping around, but board organizations here, I told them we would take care of this Escondido deal. There's two items. Item 29, discussion possible action on ARPA money. And then we're going to talk also on item 32, discussion possible action on setting aside funds from available appropriation for engineering equipment for Escondido water line. They tie into each other because trying to figure out where the money comes from. On item 32, we had an estimate, really broad estimate of about $29,000 in order to do the engineering and study and the site work and everything for the pump that is needed in Escondido Estates, in order for the water lines that are already in the ground to be able to be functional. All right, so the study was about $29,000. We have a low estimate right now for the pump. It's basically a pump, another tank, and more equipment of about a low estimate again of about $70,000. So we're at about $100,000, but we're probably anticipating another $20,000 to $25,000 above that already. So, in saying that, in order to do the engineering from TRC, right? TRC, and to put in the pump, a tank, and everything on that, it's going to be about $125,000. We have, under item 29, discussion possible action on ARPA money, we have ARPA funds available that would, I'm going to propose something and then y'all figure out what y'all want to do. $500,000 for precinct 1, 125 out of that $500,000 would be to engineering and the equipment and everything needed for Escondido. But a total of $500,000 would be set aside out of ARPA for precinct 1. And then $500,000 set up for precinct 3, and I think we're doing a park or something like that. $500,000 for the park in precinct 3, and then $250,000 for drainage along Lawson, which would include the concrete, the low water crossing, and stuff like that. So right now is when I open it for discussions to see what y'all think. Motion to approve.
Those were budget adjustments?
Out of ARPA, yes, sir.
I'll second that for discussion.
Okay. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. I have a second, Commissioner Flores. And this is the money that I asked you about yesterday, if there was at least $1,250,000 still in ARPA that are not that either were non-appropriated, which is a 1.1, plus funds that were appropriated but that had not been used.
Okay, so which ones are those?
I can go. Oh, tell you right now.
Just so we can hear those.
Fall out of my chair here. I have money in public health.
Your
Money in
public,
health, sir.
public health, we're actually gonna have to ramp up, because we have salaries coming out of that, so,
So you don't have public health.
right.
So you've got housing support.
That's,
You've got sewer
that's-
infrastructure.
Right, that's the Ralph Stevens grant, he's going to probably hit all of that.
Okay.
Okay. Sewer, if you wanna hit that, is that what you want?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything that does not have precinct 1, 2, 3, or 4 attached to it.
Elevator repairs,
Elevator repairs, you're gonna
nothing
need
in there,
everything.
yeah, I'm just teasing. All right, so we're gonna hit sewer infrastructure, sound good?
Yep.
For the balance? Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Flores, you said you had a question.
No, I don't have a question. I have or something to say concerning this money. Okay, so Commissioner Warlaw's gonna get, at the end of the day, $375,000. The 125 difference to make the 500,000 will go to Escondido Estates for water projects or whatever needed over engineering and all
What would
that.
be simpler is if we set aside $500,000 for Commissioner Wardlaw. $125,000 will be for the project out there in Escondido. If the project don't cost $125,000, he doesn't need to come back for it because he already has $500,000.
Okay.
And this is money that's being used that could be used for paving. We need to stress that.
Okay.
Well,
Because we do have that question a lot. That question comes up a lot. Why aren't it paved? Why aren't you paving? Why aren't we paving?
Well, I don't want to, I mean,
Well, I just want to say that.
okay.
so the 375, pretty much you're gonna use it for your new yard, right? Fencing, parking, shop,
Crush base,
offices.
electrical, whatever.
Yeah. And then,
And he might have a little bit more out of the 125, Commissioner. Don't know
Okay.
for sure.
then we know for a fact that Commissioner Vasquez is gonna use his for that drainage problem that they have out there. And, precinct 3 will use the $500,000.
It will be for the completion of the park, plus the rest will be used for paving.
For paving there at the park.
No, paving the roads. Los Brisas, different roads throughout the park, throughout the precinct.
Concerns? Concerns?
Well, I thought it was gonna be used on that part.
Not all of it.
And this is, I mean, this is the time to have the conversation.
Well, the thing is, in all fairness, I mean, he's getting 500,000 and, Commissioner Vasquez is getting 250.
He's getting 500.
So there's a, excuse me?
He's getting 500 plus 250.
Who is?
Plus.
No?
Well, let's back up. We just did,
No.
we just did a $10 million bill. 6.5 went to precinct 4, which is absolutely needed. 2 million went to precinct 2, which is also needed. $1.5 million went for the shooting. So if you're gonna put numbers together, precinct 3, and I don't like dividing it in precincts, but it seems like that's where we're going. Precinct 3 for the shooting got $1.5 million, and now it's getting $500,000, so we're at 2 million. Precinct 2 is at $2,250,000 out of this. Precinct 4 is at $6.5 million out of this. And precinct 1 is at $500,000. So.
All I wanted was a breakdown, Judge, that was it.
No, and that's,
Yeah.
and I'm not mad,
Yeah.
but this is the time to have those
Yeah,
discussions. I started to talk right now, and I spit all over myself. But this will be the time to have a discussion to make sure we're all perfectly
Okay.
clear. Okay? And that way, you know, when we leave here, we're happy with what we did. Okay? I have a motion. Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores seconded. Commissioner Flores, do you want to keep your second?
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. All right, item 26, discussion possible action to purchase a van for Veterans Office and for the funds to come out of available appropriations and permission to trade in the white Ford 15-passenger van. A budget adjustment might be necessary, depending on where we get it. We have had issues. Commissioner Vasquez has actually been lending the van that was purchased through precinct 2 for the veterans in order to go, because we have issues with both vans. The white 15-passenger van, that actually used to be a precinct 2 van, and it was purchased before I even became commissioner, so it's been.
an older van.
Yeah, it's been here a while. This court had purchased the bigger van.
How much money do you need?
65.
Motion to approve 65. Where do we have them? Matt? What do we have in contingency?
165.
Go with that.
Motion to approve 65 out of contingency for the van and authorize the judge to trade in the old passenger van.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Item 27, discussion possible action to purchase a 16-foot bumper pull trailer for animal control and for funds to come out of capital expenditures. A budget adjustment may be necessary. There is capital expenditures, sir?
What are we buying this for?
Animal control.
Or what are they?
Any little cages on it, or what?
Is it like a small one or like?
It's a
for all
16
horses or?
It's a,
All horses and livestock.
And what is the one that we have?
we have a gooseneck that the only people that can pull it is Parks and Building Maintenance. So that way we're not waiting on Parks and Building Maintenance. They can go ahead and get it done without
They
waiting.
have the money?
They have money, and there is money in capital expenditures under sheriff for vehicles.
Motion to approve,
And there's still a lot of money available in that line item. Are you okay with that, Mike?
Yeah, we were thinking that it was gonna be the one-time line item in there for the parks vehicles.
There's money left in there too.
Okay, you need to explain that one.
We're buying it for parks, we're buying it for the sheriff.
For the sheriff.
So,
It's in general.
Okay, there was money that was still in there. We just got through buying a Nissan for parks, right?
Right. Yeah,
And there's still how much money in that line item?
there's about 30,000.
Okay,
Doesn't he have money in his capital?
he had 239.
The one that we take it out of there, the park still needs stuff.
You should make the motion.
I'll make the motion to take it out of the sheriff's capital.
All right, and I need about 12,000. You don't mind. All right,
The amount of 12,000.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second.
Second.
Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 28, discussion possible action on shovel-ready project and presentation from Carlos, and I think, Commissioner Vasquez both went to the meeting in Laredo. And their bottom line is everybody's been pushing it, you've been pushing it. We need to have shovel-ready projects, we need to come up with a list. Doesn't really matter, we need to think of items that, or projects that we would want to do, that way we go ahead and expend funds to do some engineering and make sure that they're ready, before we begin to ask money from the state of Texas. So, Mr. Velarde, can you tell us what you heard?
Yeah, that was a meeting, that we had with Texas, and Commissioner Vasquez was there and I was there. And then they were inviting us to have shovel-ready projects because that way they can fund those projects. And that will be applicable to new projects. So in order for them to be able to fund those, we need to have at least 90% preliminary engineering on those. Also, on the Department of Defense convention that I went to St. Louis, Missouri, in order for you to apply for DSIP and REPI through the Department of Defense, they were also looking for shovel-ready projects. So it's either highway and construction, but
And most of these projects are new projects, especially
Yeah.
TxDOT. They would not be improvements, they would be new projects. So what you had proposed, Amistad, we can look at that. We actually looked at Senegas, we couldn't do it because it's already there. So we'd already had that conversation, how come, where we get the money? So any other projects that y'all need, I mean, right now, sir?
The extension of Amistad, the extension of Kingsway out to the loop, those two projects need to get done.
Precinct 1 warehouse.
Well, it's, won't be able to borrow it, no, sir. Just got 330.
I also think another project needs to be looked at, and I don't know if it would qualify, is to get Jetwell all the way back to the high school, to the seventh and eighth grade fixed, so that we can divert traffic off of Highway 90.
Okay. All right. There had also been talk, and I don't know, we sat in a meeting with the city, and their concerns, just like y'all's were, that maybe something between Kingsway back up to the loop, or Argarita back to.
Well, that would be the extension of Kingsway all the way out to the loop, going the other way. Which would go right at Kingsway and then go straight out to the loop.
Yeah. So, but we need to pick whether it's Kingsway or Argarita.
It needs to be Kingsway.
Kingsway, and it's going through your property.
Yes, sir.
All right. And Jap Low, if we can, we've always had issue with that property because the landowners own like to the center and then they go back 40 foot. But Byron Hodge had filed a document, they've switched hands several times, some of the properties. But Byron at one point had filed a document, that the original landowners the landowners at that time would give up their right if somebody would take over the road. So, yeah, maybe if we can look it up, to check and see about trying to connect that.
Engineering for Amistad was running about $500,000 to $650,000. I'm sure Kingsway will probably run about the same, maybe a little more. And Japlo, of course, that one's gonna be expensive because you've got all kinds of issues.
Yeah, and I think that one, the main thing with the city was the two bridges. Right. Mhm. And that would be something really to partner with the city for the simple reason we're fixing the county and city, or the county and the school are partnering together on that sports complex.
Right. And then you've got that, I know TxDOT keeps looking at it, but that walking bridge across from 7th and 8th into San Felipe. There was some discussion about.
And we had actually.
TxDOT funding that, but I don't know if they.
And I can get with the city on that one because we actually sent them a letter, the county had sent them a letter, of support for that bridge, but I don't know what they did with that, or which way they took off.
So you're looking at about $2 to $2.5 million worth of engineering for this project to have them shovel already.
Okay. Well, it'll give something to do, bring back to the court. All right, do y'all have anything? Well, we already got Senegas and Frontera, those are your major.
Consider paving Lamprey Road and Palmdale Road.
We can't ask for funds on stuff it has to be for new projects. So I don't think that would qualify, right? Because the road's already there. You correct me if I'm wrong.
How about low water crossings and cattle
We can do
guards?
that through FEMA, that's also another option, if we get a mitigation plan.
So Judge, the new project with Calavera School qualify for that?
Which one was that?
Calavera School?
This,
The school before you get to the park, this park.
Sam Houston?
maybe, I'm not.
Can we look into it?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing behind the item on the agenda is to get ideas which one they want. That way we can figure out which one would actually qualify. We've got a list. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 deals on here. When we get done with the meeting, we'll figure out which one, Syntex not leak.
Okay.
Check see which one would qualify before we start just asking the court for money to do engineering. All right? Are we good with that?
Yes.
All right. No action needed. Item 29, we already took action. Item 30, discussion possible action continuing environmental assessment on Escondido Waterline EDAP project. Carl?
Good morning, Judge. I requested to put this on the agenda. You may recall, we visited a while back, and the county has diligently contacted those property owners out there at Escondido Estates where we need to gain access to continue the environmental assessment for the EDAP project. The EDAP project, just to refresh everybody's memory, is to serve everybody out there in Escondido Estates. So Elizabeth coordinated, sent out a letter addressed from Commissioner Wardlow requesting these landowners to gain permission to access their property. We got about 50% of them back. And we did probably sent out about 40 contacts. We got about 50% of them back. We got it all back, we're gonna get back. We're not gonna get any more back. People, just didn't fill it out, didn't read it, whatever. So, my question to the court is, we're asking permission to continue the assessment. I don't know anybody out there that is against the project. Everybody out there wants water, they keep asking for water. And so I would, request that the team be able to continue out there, and they can carry some right of entry forms with them if for some reason they bump into somebody. They can fill that out right there. I think more than anything, people probably do not really understand exactly, why they put a right of entry form is. I can see where there's some confusion in that, but at the end of the day, we need to continue. We're at a standstill and we're not making any progress, and we need to move forward on the project. I would also entertain that people here in the audience that are from Escondido Estates, that y'all embrace that. Y'all put the word out that these people or teams going to be out there to continue the assessment. That needs to be completed before we can actually do the design on the project. The Texas Water Development Board will not pay for any of the engineering costs until the environmental assessment is complete. So the environmental assessment is probably about 75% complete, but that needs to be completed and submitted to the Texas Water Development Board for their approval before we can move forward. Any questions on that?
The bottom line is, Carl called last week, put this item on. Like you said, there's several people that the letters were sent out to, they've not sent it back, but that should not stop us from moving forward with the process. So what we need right now is a motion that we just go ahead and continue with the process. Not saying we're gonna go lay water line tomorrow or the next day, but we have to have all this in place in order to be able to ask for funds if the court ever decides to move that way.
There's even been individuals that have come to Elizabeth over here in the commissioner's room and even give her their key to the gate to get in. Elizabeth said, I'm not taking anybody's key. So people are out there, they're willing, they want to participate. It's just they don't understand some of the paperwork that we try to solicit out there to actually get permission to go, across the fence. And there's not many of them, but there's a few. But at the end of the day, we just need to move forward.
Carl, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there still plenty of money available for this future water projects?
Is there what now?
At state level? Money available at state level?
Oh, absolutely. All kind of money.
Still a lot.
Yeah. When, in fact, to just give you a little information, the Texas Water Development Board in the last legislature session, here just currently, they funded the first EDAP project that they funded in 5 years. Okay? So there is a big push to provide the service for these unserved areas. Yes, the money is there. Yeah. The money's already here in Del Rio in the bank to do all this assessment. It's sitting in an escrow account. Once all the assessment is done, if the Valverde County decides at that time to apply for the funds for construction, those funds will be available. Okay? At no cost to the county.
Make a motion, Judge, we proceed with this.
Second.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Hold on. I do have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, and I do have a second, Commissioner Flores. Any discussion? Commissioner Nettleton.
Those projects come back after the assessment as to whether they'll be grant money or low interest loans. So there's no guarantee it's all gonna be free money from the Water Development.
This particular project is an EDAP project. It's different. Economically distressed area project.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just before I take a vote, real quick, the study has to be done to figure out whether or not they need it, don't need it, and then it'll help the court decide on whether or not to go apply or not to apply.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. I have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody
Judge,
against?
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sedhill, would you committee assist us in getting the signature?
Yes, sir. I was actually gonna raise my hand. We had previously asked, to actually have a resident here. She never got a letter.
Okay.
So we had, I'll personally commit to getting every single one of the one. There's no one that's gonna be opposed to that. So if you can give me a list of the ones that you need, I'll go door by door and get that for you.
Yeah, we
I'll
asked
take
for
care of
that
that.
the last meeting, the list of people.
Yeah, so if you have a list, like I said, I can get you that, sir. I
We
can
get
you
that to you.
But I wanted her to come, because she's one of the ones that, she didn't get a letter. This gentleman.
What we can probably do is just to simplify it, is give you a list of
Yeah,
everybody.
let's do the list and I'll
We
get-
can give you a list of people that we already have.
Okay.
And then everybody else, if we can go get them,
Give me
would be
like some
great.
blank forms so I
We'll
can
just get you
help them,
forms.
And what about some of those blank forms so I can help them?
No, that's not what I'm saying. We'll get you a list of the people that we already have that have turned in their paperwork. Everybody else, we can get you enough blank forms to go ahead and get them on. But that's not gonna stop the process. We just need to take a vote now so we can move
No
forward.
one's gonna be opposed, and I'll get a.
Well, and again, the vote that we're taking right now is to be able to just to continue. And if y'all get those, it just helps.
I'll personally get them.
All right.
Thank you for your assistance.
Yeah, I'll get it.
We already took a vote. Item 31, discussion possible action on advice from the Fairgrounds Committee on the pavilion and palm trees to be removed. Fairgrounds Committee met this past week. We had actually, I think probably 9 years ago, had voted, got permission to remove palm trees out at the fairgrounds, brought it to the court, and we got permission to do it back then, but that way before the court gets phone calls that what are we doing? There is, right where the fence is at, do you have Google Earth? That'll probably save me a lot of time. Now where the palm trees are at in the center, where the gas tanks are at, they're right past the grandstands.
The old paddock area.
Yeah, those palm trees right there, and then the palm trees that are along the line, the road that goes back to the back. If we were to move all those palm trees and try to get an idea, we can come back and declare them surplus or something later on. Maybe, Melissa, if we put them out, I know that the last time there was people that might want them. Maybe if we put them out for bid or something, put an item on the agenda. If we get permission right now from the court to move forward with that, put an item on the agenda to declare them surplus and then try to get a bid on checking, see who might want them and remove them or whatever. If we can't get a bid, then we can come back and, just take them out.
I'll make that motion good.
Right here, these palm trees right here, there's about 5 or 6 of them, and I'll go around the other side, and all these palm trees right here. The pavilion, this right here, is already ready for demolition. We've already taken the steps to remove all the asbestos and everything else. The committee met, and they thought maybe putting, probably about a 6,000 square foot building here, like this way. And that would allow for people from the grandstands to use it. You'd have parking on this side, parking around the front, and you'd have, straighten this back out, this road here back out. That way you could have this for parking. The committee also had talked about, because these areas down here, the 5 paddocks down at the bottom, they've already been re-roofed. They're putting new gates. The court set aside money for blocks on the inside to be fixed. So what they talked about was putting the pavilion here, and then this arena here to put it up here, and then down here to relocate these individuals, because we don't have that many renters, to relocate these individuals back over here, and they have their own arena back up here.
And the asbestos was removed off of those.
I did not want to throw that word out, but you want to. Yes, it's all gone. We do not have asbestos out at the fairgrounds anymore. But the whole pavilion would be torn down, and it would be squared up with something other than sideways.
Do we still have the money for it?
We have insurance money, and the reason I say insurance money, because it was insurance for that we never did use. And, down at the bottom, we had insurance money for it, but if they're gonna tear it down, there's no reason to fix the roof.
We don't have enough money to build the new pavilion.
Depending on what size they want, and then it's gonna have to come back to the court once they figure out what size they want. Once they do that, I'll be able to tell you, this is what we have out of insurance money. And then out of that insurance money, we did talk about, the 4-H. We brought up the 4-H that we had re-roofed the show barn, but we had not done anything with the stalls at the 4-H. So there would be enough, all this needs to be put together once they figure out what size of pavilion. We can bring it back to the court, the numbers on the pavilion, the numbers to fix 4-H and give them half of what they have or where it doesn't flood. Put in bathrooms and stuff for them down where the horses are. We had talked about several meetings ago, even the lighting on this and the lighting on the 4-H arena. But all those numbers will come back. What we're wanting today is if the court would consider, I just don't want y'all to end up with a bunch of comments from people y'all don't know which way we're running. To remove these, she can bring it up to surplus. That way we can figure out a way to dispose of them, but I don't want her to move forward if the court's not willing to remove them. I would like to have a vote from the court, allowing the removal of those and for it to be brought back by Melissa for a proper disposition or disposal. If we do this, it just straightens everything that we have out. Right now, there's nothing at a 90-degree angle. The pavilion's not at a 90-degree angle with what we've got.
I don't think you're gonna get any bids for somebody to come take those palms. They're too expensive to remove. I think you're just gonna have to cut them down, take them out, and go on.
I just don't want the phone calls.
We're gonna try first and see what happens.
Yeah. I don't think that.
All we're voting on today is to do this, not to spend money.
I mean, there's a committee member that's interested in some of the palm trees, so there is some interest in moving the trees and things like that.
Again, I didn't want to go through the process with Melissa bringing it back unless the court's already on board with removing them, whichever way is the proper way.
So you're gonna remove all that, tear it down, and then you're gonna come back to the court with what we're gonna do after that.
I'm gonna come back to the court. We know that this parking area, the way it is right here, the way the palm trees are at, the way the plum trees are, we know that they're in the way. There's nothing that we can do out there that saves them or.
No, I understand.
They just use up too much area in this paddock area. We had thought about moving this back up here closer, and, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there, Jenny. But, they said, well, you could have the overflow from here actually to the pavilion if they wanted an open air part of it, and then the other part, closed area. You stop me if I'm wrong. So the other part with restrooms and stuff like that, they could also be used from these individuals going in, that would help. Or, access from the outside or access, if there's an event there.
Oh, you did a great job explaining that. Too bad you're not in charge of it.
Right now, it's an eyesore, Judge, but it should be made beautiful.
If all we're voting on is removal, that's fine.
That's it.
You're coming back to us with the cost.
We will come back with, what we have in the insurance money, what we have to fix the 4-H, what the pavilion's gonna cost before we spend anything on the building, and go from there. Is that correct? I just need permission to move forward with the removal and to bring it back before we do anything else.
You need permission for you to do it, or you need permission?
I need permission.
For
I need permission for Melissa to go out for proper disposition to remove the palm trees. That work?
Motion to authorize the purchasing agent to go out for removal of palm trees.
I'll second that.
Motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 32. I'm sorry, I didn't see you back here. We did item 32. Item 33, discussion possible action authorizing precinct 3 to purchase a 21,000 gallon water tank from Power Drive Supply in the amount of $12,000 from available funding, as this will be utilized to put out fires in the north side of the county.
We're adding another, we have a 10,000 gallon tank at the pocket for water. To fight fires is not enough. I want to add another 21,000 gallon tank to that so we have enough water so that when we have fires up there, we have the ability to put them out. Since it's for the whole entire area, I would ask that this money come out of contingency. So my motion is to authorize the purchase of 12,000 to come out of contingency.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Item 34, discussion possible action for a budget adjustment to move $240 from fuel to travel and training.
Judge, this is for the community center. There's a meeting in Laredo coming up, and, it's training. So, I will make a motion to approve, moving $240 from, fuel to training.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? You good? He's got the money, right? Got it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You guys are moving lightning speed. I mean, you guys know what you're talking about. We're all.
No. I looked up because you had that look on your face.
Yeah.
So I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez, to move $240 out of travel and training. And I'll slow it down.
Well, no, that one's fine, because that one's clear. It's the other ones that aren't clear, and then the 1.6 out of ARPA that we're still trying to wrangle to see which ones we're cutting, what programs we're cutting.
Okay. And if you have questions, we can go back.
Okay.
All right? Make your little notes right now.
Okay.
And when we have questions, if we need to go back to the items, we can go back.
All right, thank you.
I just want to make sure you're happy.
Aye.
All right. I looked up and you had that look on your face. I thought, well, which one's you mad at? I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. We already took the vote. Anybody against? None. Motion carries 5-0. We've done item 35. Item 36, discussion possible action to authorize county judge to sign an interlocal agreement with 791 Purchasing Cooperative LLC. This is to become a member to give us access to using the co-op. What does the agreement cost us?
Nothing.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez. Second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 37, discussion possible action to approve a purchase for a small ice machine in the amount of $3,920 and for the funds to come out of the CAB. This is capital outlay account. For that building, remaining balance is in the amount of $3,951.
For what department is that, Nicholas?
For the cab building?
It is,
They're up there.
IT, everybody.
Okay.
Motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 38, discussion possible action approving a lease agreement, a lease between Valverde County and 2024 Frontera Tour on behalf of Steve McCary for February 29, 2024. Before we do a motion on this one, the contract, the Valverde Fairgrounds lease agreement, there was an item in here, I'll hand it over to David right now. There was the lease agreement. Item 13, which it should be in y'all's packet. Item 13 used to say, a copy of the rules and regulations is attached to this agreement as Exhibit A and Exhibit B. I could not find, and today I could not find anything that would be Exhibit B. We only found one, which were the rules to the fairgrounds. So the rules to the fairgrounds that the county adopted, Jesus Christ, what did I do? Basically, Exhibit A would be the rules that the county adopted, which we already have. So all we did was take out Exhibit B. That's right, Judge. Okay. We can approve the contract with those changes, and from now on, it will only say Exhibit A, which would be the rules. I had them. I got them now. Which would be the rules that the county commissioners court had already adopted. So I wanted to get that out of here. That's it. Gotta put them all.
Motion to approve.
All right. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. I have it right here too, I'm just losing my mind. Item 39, discussion possible action to donate the fairgrounds parking lot to Michael Andrade for the second annual trunk or treat event held for families with children with special needs. We did this last year.
Second.
Have a
What's the date
motion?
on that, Judge?
Sir?
What's the date on that?
Oh, it's not on my deal, but we will look. October 26th, 2023. And that was on the contract that Midea sent to us.
Good deal.
Okay. Had a motion, you motioned?
Yes.
You second. Wardlaw, Commissioner Wardlaw? Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Juanita Barrera is the one putting this on. Item 40, discussion and approval of HR monthly report for period July 19th, 2023 through August 18th, 2023.
Motion to approve, they all in compliance?
Yes, sir. I'll second that, Judge.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? That's a bunch of. Motion carries 5-0. Item 41, discussion possible action on approval and authorizing judge to sign renewal contract with Work in Texas for work experience employees.
Second, Judge.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 42, closed session consultation pursuant to section government code A 551.071/2, attorney-client privilege, 551.071/128, contemplated litigation. C 551.072 regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, and value of real property and possible action on possession thereafter. D 551.073 regarding negotiated contract, lease, or value of real property and possible action on possession thereafter. E 551.076 regarding security devices, security audits, and no security personnel. Give us about 5 minutes, folks, and if y'all will give us the room, we'll be in the executive session. Wait, lights on. Court come back in session. Nothing in executive session was decided. It was just a lot of talk. We had a couple of items tabled. Item 8, vote on proposed tax rate. We had a tax rate of 0.4977, which included, general fund, farm to market, and our interest in sinking. Commissioners?
Make a motion to adopt a proposed tax rate of 0.497700. This is proposed, we can change it if we need to.
Second. Okay, and that covers it, Matt, just for the record. Okay, that'll work. I'm gonna take a roll call vote. I've got a motion. Are we good? I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. Commissioner Wardlaw, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Nettleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Flores?
Yes.
And myself, it's a 5-0 vote. We have tabled item 15. Vote to set elected official salaries.
Are we leaving them the way you presented them?
Yes.
Or are we going to the 3?
Second, Judge.
I can, leave them the way they were presented.
A motion to approve as presented and to be published as presented.
Yes, sir.
You made that adjustment, Judge?
On, we need to make it right now. On hers?
All right.
On which one?
The county clerk?
Yeah, on the county clerk, we'll make, I'm sorry, Commissioner, we talked about
Oh,
this, but I didn't do it. County clerk, her raise will be distributed amongst her employees.
So as presented, with taking out the county clerk and the money that would have gone to her will be distributed amongst her employees the way she sees fit.
Okay. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, who seconded that?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez, and he accepts. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. I don't have anything else written that we skipped. So all good. Item 43, Commissioner's comment. None. Item 44, Commissioner Judge's comments, none. Item 45, this meeting is adjourned. Thank y'all so much.